My name is Jordan Lawrence. I'm the owner of Wolf Creek Iron. We're located in Wimberley, Texas, what I would consider the heart of Central Texas. Our shop here that you see behind me is producing products from solar racks and some really detailed custom work to basic patios and handrails and stairways. And so throughout this video, we'll take you kind of on a simple journey with us on what we build here in the shop, how that looks out in the field, the customers we work with and for, and kind of what makes us unique and stand out. I think a lot of times people don't really get to take a peek behind the lens. And when it comes to construction, in all senses, whether it's, framing, plumbing, HVAC, steel work like we do, it looks so basic and most people don't care to see how it's done. But I think the more information we can give you on what we build and how we build will help you make more of an educated decision when you're deciding to hire someone to build for you, no matter where you're at in this country. So that's my only hope with this all, is that A, you see who we are and what we do, and B, you get a better understanding of how things should be built, so you always have a quality product delivered to you, no matter what.
We'll do a little walk around on this solar rack project for Symbiosis, really good customer of ours. They sent us a concept. They were gonna build this big solar rack. They were gonna do it themselves. It was gonna be super expensive. And I told them if I can come up with a design and an idea that makes it more efficient for the same price, could we have the project? They gave us a green light. So we'll start off on the rack here. This is just one section of it. It's gonna be two pieces that bolt together that are 12 foot by 24 foot, giving us a 24 by 24 footprint. Brandon came up with the design, full concept on the computer. It's two halves making one rack. He's got all the supports lined out and laid out. And then we've got an actuator on two posts that are gonna hold this entire rack up. We run a program called Solidworks. Inside Solidworks, it's basically a CAD program. You can design anything, but you have to know how to design. And Brandon's a man. He designed the brackets. He designed what are called the gussets, the supports. He designed the actuator. He put all of this together based on my drawing and concept on paper, and then essentially turned it into an engineered design, which is pretty awesome.
Bottom or the top, or like in the middle of it?
Everything's in the same plane, but it just...
Could you like stretch it out? Like stretch this one out to make the middle bow out, or bow in,
No, but there's a cloth flaw right here.
Make it tighter and then hammer it in there?
I want to make it perfect. So it gets a tube here, and another tube this way. Yeah, we get it right where we need to be. I'm more worried about the end. Will you show me the photo or the layout of the bottom side that shows the actuator and all the components that you made? I am essentially the office manager and like janitor, and then I just pay the paychecks. They're the ones that does it all. So you can see here, he basically came up with a whole concept and design from what I gave him dimensions on. He designed those brackets, that bracket, that actuator, where the bolts go. All of that you see came from him designing this out based on how many solar panels we needed. And then we gave ourselves a little bit of room to give the panel space. But I mean, he's a wizard when it comes to SolidWorks. So anything like in-house design, CAD files, things like that, I mean, he can take care of. We do it in-house. And if it's something that has to be stamped, engineered, or an actual architect drawing, we'll take our design and concept, and then we'll send it off to an engineer, and they'll go over it, review it, and stamp it. But I think it's a super important part of the process, because I don't know many other fab shops that do in-house design, in-house fab, and then in-house install all in one building. And we do. Most of them are going to do they're gonna outsource their design, they're gonna outsource parts of their fabrication, and then they're gonna do the install. But with us, it's all under one umbrella. So that's what makes us different.
Come here.
Swap them, but
How are you? I miss you.
This is going to be our first panel that we tack in, and it's going to kind of set the course for the rest of the fence line, because this is going to be our first 2 panels. It's going to make sure our gate's level, and then we're going to bend around the corner once we get our post set in, grab some more material, set that post, dig that hole out a little bit more, and then keep going down the line. So this would be a decorative wrought iron fence. We have these pickets that are pinched right here to kind of set the angle to make these pickets level with the posts, even though that there's grade in the ground. So even if we have to dig out some earth, we will, to make that front straight, flat against the top, and then just keep trucking along. We're gonna grab this tank and set this welder up. We're messing with a MIG in the wind, so we gotta be pretty cautious of our gas. We have these panels pre-painted, and so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna clean up these the paint around the joints where we're gonna be tacking it in. And so we're gonna wanna give ourselves a good radius of where that weld's gonna burn, so it really doesn't affect the paint around it too much. I gotta get this square over here, and then all 4 corners before we place it in. And I'll hold it, you can tack that in, and then it'll hold it up for us so we can keep welding. Here you go. Now that we got this panel in, it will just set us as an example so we can keep going, make minor adjustments along the way, and we'll get faster at it, and then we'll put 9 more of these in.
We are building Jordan's deck. So it is a 12 by 2 by 7 deck, and then these pickets, this railing is, these square tubings are 39 inches tall, and then plus the 1 by 3 on top, so adding, it would be a 40-inch railing. These are square tubings roughly spaced at 4 inches and a quarter, all the way down 6. These are roughly about 37 and 7/16 to 9/16. A spacer to space at least the top one, so we can get the proper spacing for the rest of them. And also setting that this 1 by 3 is setting a 1/2 inch over. So I'm trying to push out these square tubings in order to get the proper spacing for this, and make sure that this is squared, all squared. So we got to finish this section of hand railings, and then we got to finish up the stairs. So after that, we'll be wrapped up. This would be the day 2. So we've gotten a lot done on the deck so far.
And so now you can weld it all the way along right here versus just a weld right here and just a weld right there. And it tapers in the back.
Yeah,
Very nice.
fitted.
There's just the small details like that. And you'll never see this either. Everything's gonna be covered up with tread. So,
But it's kind of the ethos of like the metal roofing is no one's ever gonna know what clips and screws I use on a roof. So that's the whole point. Like if you do it right, then they'll never have to know because it'll never need to be redone. So
that's the goal at least. Yeah.
same process.
Now we just gotta clean that all up, throw it in.
So today we finished putting in all the framework and the inside of the parameter, like the square tubing. And I'm finishing welding out all the corners and the tops of the front of the frame. And then at some point we're gonna flip it over and do the back and the bottom of the frame. But we just had a change in the order. So I think we want the base that this will all rest on to pivot. So we're gonna order some sort of jig to make it twist and turn, and then just figure it out from there. Brennan's gonna draw it up, and we'll put that on next week at some point.
I'm gonna split it on both ends. A plate and a plate. Plate on the bottom, plate on top.
Okay.
So we'll put a plate on the post.
Got
This will bolt to that, and
Okay.
the top piece will have a plate that bolts to that.
So are we gonna cut holes in the plate, just
That's what we'll have to figure out.
maybe like some type of locking pin or something? Because you can make your plate, like that's how big is that?
Maybe the top piece isn't welded on, it bolts on too, and we'll have to make an extension down the tube to something, or make a window or something.
Or we drill holes in the concrete and have some type of like rod that goes down in the concrete that like locks that plate, that top plate. But like you said, if you go plate,
We're gonna just do a plate with a bunch of holes on it, and a plate with a bunch of holes
Yeah.
on it with a pin in it.
yeah, almost like a cheap gate pin or something.
Yeah, one of those little pins with the thing that flips over, like
Yeah.
for your receiver on your truck.
Yeah, because the only time from what I talked to Ariel, the only time it's gonna move is twice a year, summertime, wintertime, because the sun goes from here to here, and so they're basically just gonna want to take it summertime, winter.
As long as you're okay with the price, then yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the best bearing for
I
the,
mean, what is this thing? It's rated for, dude. 14,000 pounds.
Jesus.
But really, it's gonna be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Being that this is a bearing, are we gonna have to, instead of welding to it because of the material, we're just gonna cut a holes and then
Yeah, we'll do like a flange on one side and a flange on the other
Bolt
side
and
and
bolt.
bolt it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if we tickle the old way, you basically have both panels supporting each other
Yeah.
when they're butted up. Okay. Cool. It looks good.
But if he does make the other choice in the future, we could replicate those. I would do this. I would change this because it wouldn't be bead like that if it's gonna be.
You would key it to
It'd be X or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But some of the bolts will definitely change that we won't need.
Mostly,
Okay.
mostly,
Find out in the morning. They'll either stick with the old way or go the new way.
And we could probably make it automated very easily.
There has to. I wonder if there's some type of gear control arm
that would articulate something, you know, I mean, there's got to be.
You can either do a gear or you can do another small actuator with an arm on the back.
Yeah.
It wouldn't turn a lock, but you said it doesn't need to turn a whole lot.
No.
Alright, so we went from our original stand as one piece, and our customer has decided that he wants to do it in two pieces so they can both swivel and tilt at the same time. So we kind of have to start from the beginning here, and we are going to make some changes and try to give this customer what he wants. Shouldn't be too hard. Right now it's basically, like I said, we have to do a redesign, get all the new drawings over to the laser guy, have him recut what's going to change, and then start assembling these posts. The rack's pretty much done for now. Shouldn't be too hard, but it's going to add a little bit of cost to it for sure. 12 by 24. They were originally going to bolt in the center. We split them in half so we could transport it, and then it would be bolted. So it'd be a solid 24 by 24, but the new one will be 12 by 24s. You know, kind of close to each other, and they'll be able to turn and pivot.
Right.
We're going to meet up with him, show him I mean, they're not finished drawings, but we can give him some rough drawings and ideas of what we have and the cost, and if he's ready to rock, then we'll continue to finish the drawings up, get everything exported over to DXFs for the laser guy, and have him finish the cutting, hopefully get it done by Tuesday so we can start assembling these posts.
Yeah, so right now we're headed to Driftwood. It's that fence job that we started about a week ago. It's a complete decorative wrought iron fence. It's about 80 foot, and just today it's just going to be completely clearing out the area to make sure the customer's happy and everything cleaned up. There was plants that he wanted saved, so I'm going to make sure all those plants are well kept, water those down, and anything that's dirty or whatever, we're going to touch up some paint. And get some gussets put in on the gate so we can support that a little better. And that'll be it, man. I need a Sharpie. So we're just taking some paint off. To get these cleaned up so we can get a good weld in there for these gussets. There you go, something just like that. Hopefully take some of this flex out of this gate. Need that in the middle, tack it in, and once I get some stitch welds in, we'll let the gate fall, see where our sag's at, to try to match that top of the rail for the fence. That looks good. We're gonna do a few stitch welds. I'm gonna mark a couple stitches out and then weld those in. We're gonna let it hang after it cools, and then we'll take those blocks out and see if we can put more support in on the top. stitch welds I just added. We're gonna let it cool, let the gate fall, and then that'll tell me if I need to pick it up even more to throw that one on, maybe get the metal to where it'll sit flush with that other side yet again. And after that, we'll clean everything up and get everything painted. Not much, man. Looks like we're gonna have to pick it up even further because this gate's so light that we're probably gonna come out further to try to get as much support coming down this way. Might even have to throw a cable in from corner to corner to pick it up from that top side so it holds it up to the top of this gate. It did pick it up a little bit because our latch right here is not really sliding through smoothly like before. So we just got to keep making minor adjustments. We got to come up about another inch. I'm probably going to throw a couple more welds onto that one, pick this up even higher, throw that next gusset on, and see if that works out. Hopefully once I get these stitch welds in and then kind of heat up those welds down there with some more of them, maybe once we finally let it cool with that height with those blocks, it'll fall down to where we need it. Hopefully with those stitch welds, that'll give it enough support coming out this way to maybe keep that top 1 by 1 inch up. And so once it starts bending here in the middle, it'll fall down to where we need it. Pretty much what we did there is it just brought out that bend. If we had some bigger, longer gussets, which we wouldn't have wanted to do because we still want to keep it looking sleek and, you know, matching the rest of the decorative fence. But yeah, we're only about a 1/2 inch off now. And so heat these 1-bys up to where we can figure out how to match this top rail, man. Because it definitely is sitting a little lower. So right here where I have this gusset, we picked the gate up kind of past where we need it to be flush with the fence. And once I welded these gussets in, they're not too big to keep that sleek look. But with this panel being so thin and decorative, they don't make these thick at all. And so right now it's bending right where I didn't weld the gusset. And so now instead of it bending out here, we grabbed that inch or so and picked it up because it started bending out here instead. And so little by little, we're getting there. Yep. It's exactly where we need it. Sweet. So I'm gonna put these blocks back underneath it. We'll get it if you wanna come back here again.
Yeah.
should heat it up, give it a few seconds. Once we drop that back down, it should be set. Should set it right where we want it. There we go. We're gonna drill these that we tacked in. I'm gonna drop this lower to match the latch. So we were able to get in some tight spots, put those panels up, and we're close to the end, man. We're gonna just touch up some paint and be on our way.
I hope you enjoyed everything that you've watched throughout this video today. You know, we are still midway on our solar rack project. That'll be coming up in part 2. But we've wrapped up the fence project that Baton just walked you through. Everything is coming together. It's really neat to watch it all come together. And at the end of the day, you know, we want to build incredible things for cool people, and that's just what we're here to do. So I hope you enjoyed part 1, and I look forward to walking you through part 2.